Alright guys, you might be wondering, I wonder what Austin thinks is the best thing about being a YouTuber. Maybe it's the fact that he gets a ton of comments about how he's slowly turning into Ted Kaczynski because he refuses to get his haircut. Or maybe it's because it took him 9 months to get his channel monetized and he made a whopping $400 in the first year. You'd be wrong on both counts. The best thing about being a YouTuber is the free stuff. Now, I'm not talking about all the emails I get from really weird products that they want me to try. I'm talking about when it's something that you really want and that you would probably buy on your own, and the company reaches out to you and says, try this for free. Let me show you what I got today. So the good folks over at Bluetti reached out to me because they saw I'm in the middle of the Barndominium project, and they asked if I had any source of emergency backup power. And I said, yes, I'm not an idiot. I've got an old car battery and a 2,000 watt power inverter. But seriously though, this is all I had to get me through this winter. In the future, I was thinking about buying a generator, but I haven't picked one out, so I was just going to hope that our power doesn't go out, and if it does, hope that that's enough. Now they said that is not enough, and they wanted to send me the EB55. This is a 537 watt hour battery power bank to test. So with the help of my Emporia smart plug, I'm gonna get this thing opened up and put it through its paces. So let's get going. Alright, we are 100% charged and currently pulling 12 watts of power. I'm doing that with the wireless charger that's on the top. I've never actually used the wireless charger before on my Pixel. That's kind of cool. Alright, so let's take this thing around the house and see how much power random things consume. Alright, our little mini fridge here is pulling a whopping 33 watts. Now, I thought that that was incorrect at first, like maybe the compressor wasn't on and that was just the static consumption, but no, that's it. The compressor's only pulling 33 watts. Super efficient. Alright, so the stand-up fridge-freezer combo is pulling 130 watts. Alright, so our mid-sized deep freezer is actually overloading it. So it pulls a little bit more than this little guy can handle. So no-go on the medium-sized freezer. Alright, I've got a little electronics charging station set up over here. I've got a switch, a tablet, 2 cell phones, and then I've got this little light all hooked up right now. Let's turn everything on, and we'll see how much power we're consuming. Alright, everything is charging, and we are at, not very much. 5 watts, 6 watts. Now, a couple of these devices, I think both of the cell phones are almost fully charged, so they're going to be on like that really slow trickle charge. I think the Switch is almost fully charged as well. The only thing that's really low is this tablet, so you see 13 watts. Practically nothing. Alright, I've got my little microwave set up. Let's see if it can handle it. Oh wow, oh there it goes. Whoa, overload. Alright, I've got this hooked up to my little coffee maker here. Let's see if it can handle it. Ooh, fan's already on, 800, ooh, overload. Guess not. You guys check this out, 440 watts is my drill press. That's kind of crazy. Probably not super practical to run a drill press off of this, but it's interesting that it can power it. Alright, now let's unplug this, and then let's plug in this one right here. And this is going to be my entire charging station for, you see I've got my cell phone, I've got my little light, I've got 2 different battery chargers. So it's this whole power bank right here, and that is consuming, let's see here, a whopping 10 watts. So it's probably just charging the cell phone and the light at the moment, but no issues powering all that. Alright, I'm editing a video on my iMac here, and let's see, it's consuming 68 watts. Not bad. It's like an old-timey light bulb. Speaking of lights, this 2000 lumen shop light consumes 16 watts of power, which is less than the 25 watts it's rated at. Alright guys, what have we learned about this little guy? Well, it has no problems with little electronics like our cell phones, tablets, the computer, the TV, internet, that kind of thing. It also didn't have any issues with small appliances like our small fridge or even our full-size fridge. It did struggle with our deep freezer, our microwave, the coffee maker. Really anything in the kitchen with a heating element is going to be a little bit more than this can handle. But what am I really going to use this for? The idea is this is my power when the power goes out. The longest this area has ever lost lost power for, at least in the last 20 years, was a 3-day stretch in 2012 when an ice storm took out a bunch of transformers. So I wanted to look at what could this do in that scenario for 3 days, and what am I going to need in a power outage. I'd like to have the fridge going. I could move things from the deep freezer to our full-size fridge if I had to, and then I'd like to keep our electronics charged. The last thing I'd like to do is handle our heat, and that's going to be a problem because, as you saw, it couldn't even power a coffee maker, and that's because anything that takes heat takes a lot of power. So this is my smallest little portable heater, and I wanted to show you guys. Plug this in, turn this on, and then get the fan going. Running the fan consumes a whopping 11 watts. As soon as you turn on the heating element, 460, 500, 600, 700, 800, and then it overloads. So even this little tiny guy overloads it. But I do have an idea for something that might work to get me some heat in a pinch. Let me show you what I'm looking at. All right, I'm back in my office here where I've got a little bed set up for when I was quarantining myself when I got sick a couple of weeks ago. And I have an electric blanket on it because the radiant floor heating system on this side is set a little bit cooler than on the house side. So I was using this to keep me warm, and I wanted to see how long I could power it off of this Bluetti. So if you see here, when I turn this on low, oh, I didn't turn it on. There it goes, on. You can see it consumes 60 watts. Now it doesn't consume this non-stop. You've got, 5 different settings here. And so on the lowest setting, it's going to take 60 watts, and then it'll turn off, and then it'll turn back on, and it'll turn off and back on. And I wanted to see if I can use this to power it all the way through the night. So let's go to sleep, and then we'll touch base in the morning, and we'll see how much power's left. All right, guys, it's morning time. We still have plenty of power going to the electric blanket, and we have 40% battery life showing up on the Bluetti here. Let me go get some coffee in me, and then we'll go over the data that we've been logging on the Emporia smart plug. All right, guys, so I looked at the numbers from my little smart meter, and it looks like the low setting on the electric blanket, this thing could power it for about 16 hours. So 2 nights. Now, I don't know if that would be enough if we lost our radiant floor heating system, but I do know that if the floor system was turned off, the residual energy stored in the concrete would keep the building warm for probably 8 to 10 hours. So really, you just need something that's going to be a little supplemental while you're waiting for the power to come back on. As far as the full-size refrigerator, it looks like I could get around 36 hours out of this, and then the mini fridge was 47 hours. And both of those fridges are going to be dependent on how many times you open them up. Each time you open them up, it heats up the inside. Obviously, you've got to cool it back down. Now, for small electronics, it was actually hard to tell how long this would last because the power consumption is so low and the batteries are oftentimes not fully depleted. But it looks like if you had 2 cell phones and a tablet, you'd get somewhere around 3 to 4 weeks out of this, which is more than I could ever imagine needing. Now, this is actually the second smallest power generator that they offer. They have an EB70, which has 25% more battery capacity, and that's what I would recommend just to make sure that it can get you through 2 full days with like the bare necessities. I would also recommend getting the solar panels. They didn't have them for me right now because there was just a supply shortage, but I do plan on getting that in the future, so I can't tell you how good of a quality they are or how long they last, but they do say that it could charge this up in 2.5 hours in direct sunlight, or if it's a little bit cloudy, 3.5 to 4 hours. So as long as you could get 4 hours of moderate sun, really you could use this indefinitely through a power outage for just the bare necessities. Now, if you want to step it up from there, they have an EP500 that has a 2000 watt power inverter that could power things like the microwave or your coffee maker, which makes a lot more sense, especially if you're going to be using it for main power for like an RV. Now, above that, you've got the AC series, which is where they get pretty expensive, but really cool. So you've got 2000 watt power inverter or a 3000 watt power inverter, and then you can actually add supplemental battery packs and just continue to add them. I think you can add up to 4 on the AC series. Now, I do plan on building a custom RV in the future. The whole family loved our little trip in the RV, but RVs are very cheaply made. They're made to be inexpensive and lightweight, and neither one of those properties lends itself to high quality. So my plan is in the future to take an enclosed trailer and turn it into an RV, and the AC series will be perfect for something like that because I can properly insulate it, and then I can get the most efficient heating and cooling systems, and then I can do a solar panel on the top that will keep it charged up. But obviously, that's somewhere down the line. All right, guys, so hopefully you found this video informative. It's really exciting to me that there's something in between, like lead acid batteries with a power inverter setup versus not needing a gasoline or diesel like a traditional generator. And it kind of reminds me of in the early 2000s when a lot of the electronics switched from AA or AAA batteries that were terrible to the lithium batteries that we all use. I remember my first digital camera was an Oregon Scientific, and I think it was 0.8 megapixels, and it could take 6 photos and only 4 of them with the flash before the AA batteries died. And it's crazy to think you'd get 4 flashes for 2 AA batteries when now, you know, I've got a cell phone that lasts all day, or I've got a GoPro 10 that'll do 4K HD for like 3.5 hours. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll see you guys next week. Take care.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.